Hello and welcome to tonight's show.
And hello and welcome to episode 219 of On the Bench, the podcast for scale modelers by scale modelers, all about scale models. And this episode is being brought to you by all of our wonderful Patreon supporters. You too can help support the show. Simply go to www.patreon.com/onthebench and pledge any amount from as little as $1 per month. Every financial Patreon supporter gets an OTB sticker and, of course, goes into our wonderful Patreon Wheel of Fortune. On the Bench is proud to be supported by the Scale Model Supply. So let's hear a few words from our good friend Scott.
Hi, I'm Scott, the creator and owner of the Scale Modeler Supply, Australia's largest manufacturer of hobby paints. Our premium airbrush-ready acrylic lacquer paints are designed specifically for use on plastics, with a comprehensive range covering all popular modelling subjects including military, aircraft, rail, auto, sci-fi and more. And not only that, but we also have a wide selection of essential hobby tools and now, Infinite Colour, our new range of water-based paints for miniatures. So to check out our range and to find your closest retailer, please visit our website at scalemodeler.com.au. So when quality matters, choose SMS Paints.
G'day, it's Chris, the Promotions Officer from the Queensland Model Hobbies Expo. I'm here with your invitation to attend the 29th running of the Queensland Model Hobbies Expo in Ipswich, Queensland on August 16th and 17th at the Ipswich Event Centre at the Ipswich Showgrounds, 81 Warwick Road, Ipswich. Please visit qmhe.com to register your entries. Hoping to see you all in August. Cheers.
And hello and welcome to the show. And in the studio, I've got Ian.
G'day Dave, g'day Julian, g'day everyone out there in Radioland.
And of course got I was going to say something else then.
Julian.
Why? What were you going to say?
I don't know what I was going to say. I got the S. Oh, anyway, how are you, mate?
I'm going to assume it was something flattering and not rude.
You know me.
I'm being positive on this Saturday morning.
I'm always positive about you.
Oh, right. Okay.
Aren't I?
Well, you should be. I mean, I brought you your masks that you asked me to cut a while back.
Yes, at long last, the masks.
I mean, it's not like it's that necessarily. It's not like you had. I need to build this by
Yeah, true.
By X date. I mean,
true. I still haven't built them.
You've got plenty of other rockets to work on.
Speaking of, I'm having trouble with one that I'm building at the moment. I'm doing that dinosaur, the X20, and I've lost the engine bell.
Well,
You've lost or the dog's got it.
Well, that's what's scaring me. I'm thinking, oh my God, I hope the dog hasn't got it. So, it's a dog of a kit. It is such a dog of a kit, speaking of dogs. But, and I was sitting there the other day ready to assemble it, and I couldn't find the engine bell. So, I think what I might do is just pack it all back in the box, put it away. And
You've got a 3D printer?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, but just because he's got a 3D printer doesn't mean here it is someone on the internet's already molded it for me because they also have a dog that ate it.
Well, we don't know the dog's eaten it yet, so that's.
Have you been going through its?
I think I would have seen it if it had come out. Because, but no, I haven't seen anything, but I can't find it either. So it's somewhere in the model room. Yeah. And so here's my theory. If I pack it up and put it away,
you're going to find it.
I'm going to find it. So that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it's usually the way it works.
Well, it helps if you don't have the floor covered in things for it to hide amongst.
True. And if I had had to clean a desk, it would help as well.
Well, I mean, at least the desk you can sort of peer over it, right?
Yeah.
But if they've got stuff on the floor, you don't even know if it's fallen into a box that you've had open and sitting on the floor.
Yeah, it's there somewhere.
Very true.
So we got some physical mail that arrived
Physical mail?
Yeah, we have some physical mail that arrived. First of all, the Moosaroo Cup arrived.
Ooh.
And I can't open it until next week.
Uh-huh.
As we're recording, it's the 2nd of August, so I've got to wait until next week before I can open it.
Yep.
I want to say, I think it's an armor kit. It's got that kind of...
You sure it wasn't like a
What?
thesaurus?
A thesaurus? What would it be a thesaurus?
Well, you need your help with the English language. And
No.
Yeah, I hope it's a dinosaur kit.
a dinosaur.
Yeah. Let Dave handle the
You know
dinosaur
what?
kit.
Did it have the weight of a dinosaur kit? Oh, that's a chunky box.
No, this isn't it. This is another another
Oh, it's a
mail we
different
got.
box.
Yeah, we got
Oh,
this
geez,
from
yeah.
our good friend Paul Pendleton Brown,
Oh, yeah.
and their new show. They sent us a gift which I've got to unwrap.
While
talking.
we're live, yes.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
Okay.
so what's the other worst thing that? Oh, a dinosaur kit wouldn't be bad for the Moosaroo Cup. I could perhaps live with that. What can't I live with?
A car.
a car. It would be good if it was a car kit.
No, it can't be a car. I want to say it doesn't feel
One of
like
those
a
old
car.
Revell fire truck kits.
You know what? It wouldn't.
No.
It wouldn't be a car. It'd be a motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
No, the most I would like that. That'd be good. It doesn't. It doesn't.
It
feel
depends. It depends because there's two different types of motorcycle kits. There's the kind that have some finishes already built in,
Yeah.
and then there's the kind that are only in grey plastic.
Oh, maybe a Model Hero kit.
Well, as we're talking, I'm opening up the box that we got from.
Oh, he's attempting
the
to
boys.
open it. He's
Oh.
making a mess opening. I can see him smashing the microphone off the
Rip the box
stand.
open.
There we go. He's got it open.
Oh, there's some
Clothing.
clothing items
Oh, nice.
in a very nice orange.
Cool. High visibility. So
High vis. So we have this lovely
polo shirt.
polo shirt. One says Podfather, and beyond the box art's written in it. And a
Nice.
lovely orange.
Nice.
It's nice.
Oh,
Yep. Extra large.
Get stuffed. And we've got one from the Pod Uncle. So that's going to be
That's gotta be me.
going to be you. So I'll throw that across to you.
Thank you.
And let's
Thank
see.
you, Paul.
what does my one say?
Yours says
Pod nephew.
Pod Nephew.
Cool.
You know, I
I like it.
I-
Thanks, guys.
I don't
Very much
mind-
appreciated.
I don't mind this nickname. You know, because
Pod nephew.
it does make me feel younger than I really am.
That's true. That's true. Oh.
I mean, I am 42. 42. Yeah. I think I'm 42.
And
Yeah.
I'm 62. Like I'm 20 years older than you, man.
What, 57, I think?
Yeah. God. What do you mean you think you're 57?
Well, okay. You know, it's like once you hit 50, you don't really give a damn about your birthday anymore.
Oh, that's really lovely. So they've got fantastic. It's got beyond the box art embroidered on it.
I think you were about 50 when I met you.
Yeah.
And
First
then
met you when I first joined the club.
on the
7
other,
or 8 years ago. Something like that.
I'm trying to talk.
Okay, sorry.
Go on.
So it's got beyond the box art embroidered on there with their logo, and on the other side it's got Podfather and Pod Uncle and Pod Nephew.
Yeah.
It's a pretty hefty fabric, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's cold in the UK, so obviously they've got to,
right. They get the thicker sort of.
Oh, there's some more stuff in the box too.
Oh,
There's some
okay.
stickers.
Oh, cool. Stickers for the spray booth.
Beyond the box art. Stickers. There
Cool.
we go.
That
So
goes
that's
on the
gonna-
spray booth.
Yeah, same here. And there's one for Ian.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much, guys. So give the show a listen, Beyond the Box Art.
Yeah, it's a good
the,
show.
Latest one. It's out. And in fact, I actually got a note from Brownie about an issue to do with Airfix. The latest,
Oh, the Liberator.
the Liberator. Yeah. What have I done with my phone?
I don't know.
It's in my pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, something about the canopy, that they've inadvertently put the wrong canopy in the latest B24 kit. But if you contact Airfix, they'll send you a replacement.
Yes,
Is
that's
that
correct.
correct?
Yes.
replacement canopy or a replacement kit.
Canopy.
Replacement canopy. So go and have a listen.
Which
to
is kudos to Airfix.
Yeah, I can't fault them for that.
Unlike other companies that you send them a complaint and nothing, you get crickets.
Oh, actually, I should. It's actually a letter.
Oh, okay.
In the
Read it
box
out.
as well.
Read it out.
G'day, Benchmates. Please find enclosed the promised shirts and some show stickers, just in case you don't know how to find our show. Have a look on the back of the stickers. Get
it's
the
got a
nephew
QR
to
code.
explain what the markings are. Ha ha ha. It's a QR code. I get it. Anyway, enjoy the shirts. Hopefully you will like the additions. Keep well and natter again soon. Thanks for all the support and getting our pod off the ground, and look forward to meeting the whole team in person soon. Kind regards. That's from Brownie.
Thank you.
There we go. Thanks, guys. Really fantastic and really appreciate the shirts.
Yes. We'll have to get a photo of all three of us wearing them.
Oh, yeah, we can do that, yeah.
We'll do that before we go. We can post it on our site.
Perfect. All right. What else were we talking about? I was talking about how... Oh, that's right. I've got the... I'm having a senior moment now.
You are. You actually, there's smoke.
Oh, the Moosery Cup.
Yes.
That's right, yeah. So I'll open that next week. I might even do a very short 5-minute podcast and just drop it.
Yeah, boxing, yep.
Unboxing.
It's an unboxing.
Oh, please, Lord, don't let it be a car.
Yes, please let it be a car.
No, don't let it be a car.
Let it be a car.
Yeah, I would love to see Dave. You know what?
Don't.
You know what? He would just flat coat it anyway if it was a car.
Yeah.
He would cop out somehow.
Well, it depends what sort of car. If it's just a... You know how you get those really stupid sort of hot rod cars, kits? You can't just flat coat them.
You mean like a rat rod?
Well, no, not a rat rod, because you can do that all in rust and sort of stuff. But you know those like those...
Like a funny car?
No, kind of like, it's like an olden day car from the olden day times. And they
A classic 50s hot rod.
Yeah. I mean, you can't do that just in flat coat. You got to sort of zhoosh that up, don't you?
Well,
Not
no,
really.
you can do that. I mean, those are more likely to be repainted when you think about it.
No, let's stop talking about cars. It's not going to be cars. It's an armour kit. I know it in my bones. I can feel it. It's an armour kit.
Okay,
I
if you say
really-
so, bro.
Well, we'll find out in a week's time, won't we?
Probably like a Churchill or something like that.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
No, I could do that.
All
900 wheels.
Yeah, I was going to say all those wheels, man.
Oh God, I'm really nervous now.
Have fun cleaning up all those wheels.
Ian, what have you been up to since we last had you on the show?
Well, same old story, mate. Work and looking after my mum. So, yeah. Actually, I haven't bought anything. For a
You
bit.
haven't?
No, but I have got my eyes on and doing the pre-order on the new Edward P40N, the 15,000th.
P40N.
Yeah, the 15,000th P40
You know, as a P40,
aficionado.
yeah, fanboy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer the B or the later one?
I like them all.
Okay.
I do not have a favourite.
You don't have a favourite?
No.
Okay, that's fair
No.
enough.
I like them all.
Fair enough.
What about you, Julian? What have you been up to? You can
Me,
probably a lot more than I have.
Yeah, I've been tinkering away on my car, doing my polishing and stuff like that. You know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Skyline that I've painted in like a metallic grey.
Yes.
Yeah, and now that because I sort of did all my sort of stages of preparation for the actual polish, because I think I mentioned before how I run through like basically just wet sanding with 6,000 and then 8,000 grit before I get to the actual polish.
Yep.
And so you can actually get it quite shiny
Yeah, just by using those pages.
just by going through those.
Yeah.
But then you throw the polish on top and it turns
Yeah.
like glass,
Yeah.
right?
Which is what you want.
Yeah. But now that once I actually got to that point and actually polished it with the compound, I could start to see upon like looking up real close. And I can only get away with this because,
So what year Skyline is it?
it's R34, so that's like sort of mid-90s something.
Right. Because that's one thing about cars, right? If you're doing like a factory finish, like from factory, they don't have that glass finish.
No. But I mean, these are cars
But
that
then
are...
again, trying to model it to look like that I think might be quite difficult.
Well, here's the thing, right? So I'm not too sure if this Skyline came in this color. But at the same time, it's a very sort of typical color for a Skyline, because most people sort of group the last those sort of three generations together, the R32, 33, 34 together. So the 32 is the one that they used to run at Bathurst.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the 33 was like a slight sort of styling update in a way, I guess. No, actually, well, I think that was a whole different car. In any case, there's the 33 and the 34 are the ones that are closest together, and the 34 is the better sort of looking one. It's the one that sort of got featured in the Fast and Furious movies.
Oh, right, yep.
And sort of really stuck in the mind of the American audience, and because of their 25 year rule, they couldn't get them for the longest time. And because it was the last one to sort of out of those ones to come out, they had to wait the longest. And by the time they were finally able to get them in, which was only like, I think this year.
Right.
This year or last year, they're now like, cars worth 100K plus. Easy.
That's a lot of money.
Easily. and that's why it doesn't, it's no big deal if I do it that shiny, because if you've got a car worth that much money, you're gonna make sure its paint job is in good condition, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. Totally.
It's not the most famous color that it was known for having, which is midnight purple.
Ooh.
Midnight purple. So if you want to actually paint midnight purple, and like I said, everyone loves that color. It's basically you have to paint it black first.
Yep.
Gloss black. Then you have to essentially spray it with two completely different paints to get the color right.
The right shade.
And it's like a kind of like a purple tint with a whole bunch of like purple and gold fragments metallic flakes in it. Yeah.
All right.
Because it changes depending on the angles that you look at it and stuff. It's really...
Right. Yeah.
It's a pretty like magnetic looking color, and there's more than one version of it. So there's midnight purple 2 and 3 that I know of, and 1 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's like, I think on the R33s is different from the one on the R34s, and blah 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 blah. It's the most famous color, but because it's so sought after, now the sort of more mundane colors are becoming popular too. So you know how these things go.
Yes, totally agree.
In any case, I think I'm almost finished. Like, I've got to paint the black window surrounds, and also got to paint the black on the actual glass, because it's that era of car where you've actually got like the black frames.
Yep.
Well, the sort of like the, what do you call it, around the edge of the
window frame. The window surround.
It's not that. It's the part that's on the actual glass.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I know what you mean. Yep.
Yeah, and I got to paint that. And then it's mostly going to be all go together. The only thing I've got left is an element in the wing that is black. And it's because when I was cleaning it up, it snapped in half.
Ouch.
It's a very thin piece of plastic.
Yeah.
And it just folded like a card in my hands. And I was like, crap, now I have to glue this thing back together and leave it alone for a week.
Yep.
And then still handle it carefully, because once it's been broken once, it's just going to want to keep breaking
again.
there.
Yep, totally
it's
agree.
the weak link.
It is, yes.
Well, I already discussed what I
been up
have.
to?
Yeah, I've ordered some thinner for my VMS gloss and stuff. It annoys me that I can't seem to get VMS to work properly, and Clayton, good friend of ours, he seemed to use it with no issues whatsoever. So I reached out to him again, and he suggested I could get the actual thinner that goes with it. So I've got a bottle of that on its way.
Is that from local, or you have to get that from overseas?
Well, I tried to get local, I couldn't, so I had to order it from overseas.
Right.
So,
and who'd you order it through?
I can't remember. The actual VMS store direct.
Oh, okay.
The manufacturer.
Is there any reason why you're really trying to get that stuff to work?
Because I can't get it to work. That's why I want to get it to work. It's annoying me that I can't seem to. Every time I use it, just clogs the airbrush up. So, I'm coming at it from a different angle this time and have a crack at it. Cause it just ticks me off.
I mean, I don't think we're starving for good flat clears anymore.
No, we're not. But I've bought a bottle of flat clear and gloss, and I can't get it to work, and it's just annoying the heck out of me. So I'm gonna keep battling on until I get it to work.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah, it's all just trial and error.
The other thing, I did pick up a helicopter because there's a group build for the Illawarra show next year. A little group I'm in called the Corner Cutters, and we just pick a subject and build it for an upcoming show.
Oh, yeah.
I did have the Hughes 500 to build, and I'm kind of thinking I don't really want to build a Hughes 500 now. I want to build something else. So I'm thinking of maybe getting a Sea King. I think a Sea King.
I was going to say Sea King is in vogue at the moment.
Yeah, and I do love a Sea King.
Yeah.
I just wonder if I can build.
Where are you going to put it?
Well,
what scale? Actually, what scale?
Airfix have recently released the 72nd scale.
Oh yeah.
Which is a more manageable.
Even that'd have a pretty decent size footprint.
Yeah.
Especially the rotors.
But I mean, it's a more manageable size, and even though I would prefer the Hasegawa 48 scale one,
if you can find one.
If you can find it.
Airfix do it in 48 too.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather take the Hasegawa.
Why?
Because it's Hasegawa.
Yeah, but mind you,
but that's so old that model now.
Yeah,
that
it's
particular
so.
one. Well,
whereas Airfix has really stepped up their game recently anyway.
Yeah. Apart from the boo-boo with the B24.
But they've addressed it.
They have.
They've addressed it, and they're looking after the customers. So kudos.
I'm just saying that the Airfix, the Hasegawa ones are in demand for a reason, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, they are.
Are they?
Yeah, of course they are.
Who do you know is buying a Hasegawa Sea King?
No one, because you can't buy him.
Gibbo, he always loves to talk about how he picked one up for a steal.
Yes.
And how rare they are.
Yeah, but that's just one dude. Some random
dude. There are plenty of people.
Random.
It's one of the most, like, of the Hasegawa kits, it's one of the most sought after. The other ones being the A4.
Yep.
A4, yep.
Right? And I think the Harrier, one of the Harrier variants.
Mm.
Those are the three, highly
GR3,
sought after Hasegawa kits that you'll almost never get your hands on.
Yes, very true.
Hasegawa should start their production lineup again.
I suppose.
Well, I think they've more gone to another format.
Oh, they're serving me just fine building car kits.
Yes, well, very true.
I'm sure they're printing money for the car kits too.
Yeah.
Ian and I are off in 2 weeks' time. Well, in fact, 14 days. We're going to the QMHE,
yes,
Queensland Models and Hobbies Expo.
And we're flying in this time.
We are. It is running on the 16th to 17th of August 2025 at the Ipswich Events Centre, Ipswich Showgrounds, 81 Warwick Road, Ipswich, Queensland. So that, again, is on the 16th and 17th of August. Don't forget to pop in and see us if you're in the area. We'd love to catch up with you.
Definitely. It was great last year, catching up with a lot of friends who I met for the first time in person.
Exactly right. And on that note, our good friend Ben Flood writes in. He says, "Hi there, benchers. Really looking forward to catching up in 2 weeks' time at the Queensland Model and Hobbies Expo. It'll be great to have you up here again. As has been mentioned a few times on the podcast, QMHE this year will have the return of demo displays for public and attendees to come and see how a range of modelling techniques are done for all beginners, intermediate and advanced. This year there will be the following. On Saturday 16th of August, Black Hat Scale Models, our good mate Stuart, will be doing paint and chipping techniques. Becca's Models, we're doing something in aircraft, yet to be announced. And of course, Ben Flood is going to be doing figure painting and faces in acrylics. On Sunday the 17th of August, Stuart from Black Hat Scale Models is again going to be doing weathering techniques for armoured vehicles. Becca is going to be doing aircraft again, and also Ben will be back again with figure painting and other techniques such as inks, wet on wet, and stippling, etc. The demos will run from between 1.5 to 2 hours, with time for any questions from attendees. Starting times and more information will be announced on the next few days over all platforms. For Hobby Expo dates and times and addresses, go to www.qmhe.com. Hope everyone can make it and look forward to catching up with the listeners there. That's a good mate, Ben Flood.
Yep. Same here. Looking forward.
Also, we need to say that Stuart from Black Hat Scale Models, who is powering along with his 1/16 scale M113,
He's going to have his big unveiling.
We'll be having the big unveiling.
Yeah, of the finished product. I'm really looking forward to seeing this thing.
And he's doing it on the show.
Already that far along?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
He set himself a really, really tight timeline, and I think he's at the bench about every night.
Yep.
And he's doing the fire support vehicle, we should mention, with the Saladin turret.
Yeah.
And he's had to actually build the interior because there's no interior for the turret, so he's had to do all that scratch built. So
big job, mate. Big job. I'm really looking forward to seeing this thing.
I am too, and also a quick shout out to Spud Murphy, who've had on the show a couple of times as well. He's doing a fantastic job with his M113 1/16 scale.
Yep.
And he's at the weathering stage now, and it's just a masterclass watching him how he's going through the weathering with picking up all the dust effects and everything on it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So very exciting times.
Definitely agree, mate.
Very exciting
Definitely
times. Now, while we're on mail, let's go through the rest of the mail, shall we?
Yes.
First one comes from Stuart Halton, who writes in, "Hi guys, greetings from Sussex, England. Great to hear an episode focusing on in-flight modelling. I build most of my aircraft up where they belong and have long hoped that manufacturers would include a Becker sprue to facilitate this." There we go, it's Becker sprue. That's going to catch on.
Yeah, I will.
"My favourite method on prop-driven aircraft is to chop off the prop blades and smooth the spinner. It's not perfect, but to me it's a lesser of several evils. Photographing outside in a natural environment also adds to the illusion. Here is a selection of my recent builds. The odd one out is a Lightning, which is flying over a book by
Antoine de Saint-Exupéry,
representing his final flight. You can see the jets on my Instagram, which is at Stutch_scale models. Love the show. Keep them coming. With kind regards from Stuart Halton."
Geez, they're nice photos, aren't they?
I agree. I think that way of doing the spinner is my preferred.
And I like
one.
it. Like you can really notice it on the. He's got a photo here of I think it's a Typhoon or Tempest. I'm not too sure, but how he's airbrushed the black line around the spinner to make it look like that's where the propeller blade is.
Yeah.
And it's and just the way the pilot's head's on an angle, and it's stunning. But the realism is just amazing. It really speaks to me, that one.
This is my second way that I prefer to see it done. My first preference would be to actually have a real spinning propeller on it.
Yep.
Because that's one-to-one real life.
Yes.
But this is really well done.
Yeah.
And I'm very impressed by that, actually.
Yeah, totally agree. They look
Even
amazing.
the bow fighter looks pretty darn good.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
But
what.
you're just missing that sort of yellow blur around the edge is the only thing that sort of takes it away. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends on the photo.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't see it in photos.
Well, that's right. I totally agree with Julian on that one. No, they've done some really nice job. I'd love to see these posted on our Facebook page.
I like the P38. I mean, I've always got a soft spot for the P38, but I reckon the P38 does look much better in flight than it does on the ground.
Yep.
Yeah. Didn't you build one? The Tamiya one?
Yeah, I have. Tamiya. No. I advocated for it because that was after I built the horrible
Academy
one.
Yeah.
And remember, it was the F, not the J.
Yes.
So that's a J with the very, that's the later one, the more common one. The F is the one with the really sleek nacelles.
Yes.
Academy can be a real like a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
You don't know what you get.
Hit and miss. Hit and miss.
Ryan Hoffersel just writes in and says Sylvester kits also include a stand for their 1/72 scale kits for a long time, but I've noticed in the latest releases the stand is an optional extra to be purchased. I have lent their grey. I have a lot of their grey stands in my spares drawer. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, I think I do recall that.
It's a bit
Why would you
weird.
have it as an extra? Just chuck it in.
Chuck it in.
I mean, come on.
It's probably less than a cent worth of plastic.
Exactly. Well, not even that.
Well, it might be the difference between fitting it in a box and not.
Oh, yeah.
And if, you know how that is for pricing and things.
Mm-hmm.
Chris De Winter writes in, "Hi, Davey and Julian. I hereby write to you guys regarding a couple of things. At first, I wanted to say that I have been listening to your podcast for about 2 years now and love the banter between you three folks. Always give me a laugh behind the bench whilst working on my 148 scale aircraft. The other thing I wanted to ask you guys is when is the best time to visit Australia and visit a model show at the same time? My plans for this year's holiday, 2025, are already set in stone since I'll be visiting the Geeks at PAXCON show in October. But since I'm the type of person that likes to plan ahead, I would love to set Australia on my bucket list to also visit at some point. And what better than to combine this with a model show? So what show is recommended to go to and what time, since I would rather not get annihilated by the sun during the Aussie summer, since I heard that it can get pretty hot out there. My plan is then to visit country. I might jump over to New Zealand for about a month. Anyhow, let me know if you guys have any advice on this. Greetings from the Netherlands, Chris De Winter." Well, that's an easy one.
Yeah, Canberra.
Canberra show.
The Canberra show, not only the show, you've got the Australian War Memorial.
Yep.
Next year, G for George will be all complete and back in its hangar.
Actually, it's being shipped back in as
it
we
has
speak.
been shipped. It's already sitting there while they're building around it. So that's, when's that?
November.
November, yeah.
November.
Basically, yeah, can get a bit warm, but it's not like super hot in the middle of summer.
Yeah. It's our late spring.
Yeah.
So November is a perfect time to visit.
Yep.
And as Ian said, not only do you have the fantastic model show there in November, but you got Canberra, which is the capital of Australia. So you can go to the War Memorial, you can go to the Dinosaur Museum.
Yep.
You can go to Questacon, which is like a big science museum.
Yes.
There's some
you're halfway between Melbourne and Sydney.
There's some deep space stations, which have a section that's open to the public, so you can go and check them out.
Mm-hmm. And if you book ahead, you might be able to get into the Mitchell.
Oh yeah,
in Canberra, and you get to see all the stuff that's not on display at the Australian War Memorial.
So
because honestly, in my opinion, the Australian War Memorial is probably one of the best military museums in the world.
Yes.
Yep. It is an amazing.
It's a memorial and it's also a museum.
And a museum, yes. Yeah. And the great thing about it is most of the stuff hasn't been restored, so you get to see it as it was when it left the battlefield.
Yeah,
or left service.
It's why all the good stuff is kept indoors, and there are no windows.
No, that's right. Yes,
no sunlight lands on those planes anymore.
It's I highly recommend it, Chris.
So flying to Sydney,
and you'll get to catch up with us. And hey, who knows? We might even get you on the show, mate. Have a chat to a fellow Dutchman.
Yeah, well, and of course, then popping across the pond over to New Zealand. Perfect little way of rounding off a trip.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. So
November, mate. People often forget that New Zealand's quite a long way from Australia.
It's a 4-hour flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still a long way, but we're still the closest way to get there, right?
Well, not only is it a long way,
you can't get to New Zealand without going through us, right?
True, but you can if you come via Hawaii. But New Zealand is surprisingly large. It's not a small country.
No.
If you look on the atlas, you think, oh yeah, I could drive to the tip down to the bottom in a day.
No, not a chance. It's like people, when they come to Australia and they're in Melbourne, they're getting, I can go to Queensland for a day.
Yeah.
It ain't going to happen.
Yeah. So get your head around distances, Chris.
Yeah.
Because coming from Europe, I think you'll be in for a bit of a rude awakening.
Well, I mean, I don't think he needs to worry about that too much. I mean, he is like landing in an airport and then going from the airport to a hotel or something like that, and then from there to the hobby show.
But what I'm saying is, you gotta make sure you know, because if you try and cram too much in a short period of time because of the distance, you're going to go, oh.
Yeah, okay.
See what I'm saying?
And I was thinking, like, I know this year Dave and I are going to the Dinosaur Museum beforehand.
Yes.
I was thinking, I was going to mention this to you later, Dave, that next year why don't we take an extra day and spend a day at the War Memorial?
Oh, yeah, could do it. Well, I've been putting off going to the War Memorial until they're finished doing all their upgrades.
Which is mid next year.
Yeah, okay. So next year, when we go up there, we'll do
an extra day.
Yeah.
And and if Chris is there, we can have Chris can tag along.
Oh, that's a good idea, yeah. There you go. 2026.
I can translate.
Do you know many Dutch words?
Bij Nederlands is niet zo slecht.
Okay, well, there you go. I got no idea.
That sounded a bit shaky.
That was a bit shaky. I don't use it very often.
Next email comes from Matt Cook, who writes in, greetings from West Michigan. Hope all is great with you guys. I enjoyed your show about in-flight models. Occasionally I tell myself that I'll build a model on the ground with access panels open and showing it in repair. What really happens is I mount it on the stick again. I have told many fellow modelers that I do it because I'm really bad at painting landing gear. The real reason is that when I think about F-14s, P-51s or X-Wing fighters, I don't imagine myself turning wrenches on the ground. I want to be in the air, flying through canyons and chasing bad guys while bombing Ewoks. Often the stand is the first thing that I work on, and I have an embarrassing number of models with pre-built stands stuffed into the box with aftermarket pilots. It's a bit disappointing how often scratch building is required to show closed landing gears, but that's what we do. I include a couple of pictures to show what I typically aim for. Thank you again for another great show, and I'd like to finish with a shameless plug for our own show, which is the Great Lakes Challenge, which is on October 4th in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So go and check out that model show. I'll personally bring along several models on sticks, and I'm sure I won't be alone. That's Matt Cook.
That bone looks pretty cool with the...
He's done a selection of models that he's sent. One is obviously the B1
flying low over the water, and the water's like raising up behind it.
Yeah, very cool.
And he's got like is that a Terminator?
It's Terminator on the back of a rocket.
Rocket, yeah. Merry Christmas. And a Death Star.
Very good.
Not Death Star.
Not Death Star. Star Destroyer.
Star Destroyer.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's from what was it? Rogue One.
Yeah.
Over the top of the city.
Yeah. One of the best Star Wars documentaries ever.
Yes.
Next one, we get an email from Keith Thompson, who writes, hi, Dave, Ian and Julian. The South Australian Scale Model Expo is on again. This year event is being held on the 11th and 12th of October at the John Dunning Centre, Prince Alfred College, Kent Town. The venue is on the outskirts of the CBD and is readily accessible by public transport. In addition, there is plenty of parking at the rear of the school. The event is the feature modelling expo in Adelaide and normally attracts in excess of 500 models in all categories for both judging and display. This year, in addition to our regular categories, we have 3 themes as an additional attraction for the event, which the modelers can enter. The first one is 80 years since VJ Day. It's victory in Europe and victory over Japan, and the end of hostilities in 1945. Expo 2025 is commemorating these significant events in world history, so bring along your armoured fighting vehicle, aviation, figure, vignette, ship and diorama models from those final months leading up to the end of hostilities in both major theatres of war. Models can be entered simply as display only or cross-entered in the appropriate competition category. Also, there can be celebration of 40 years since the Australian Grand Prix was first held in the streets of Adelaide. So sad it's in Melbourne now, so suck it up. Yep. The display focuses on F1 cars that raced over the 10 years of the Adelaide Grand Prix, and modelers can enter models of Grand Prix cars that race between 85 and 95, beg your pardon. They do not have to replicate the setup or livery of the car as it raced in Adelaide, but just during that time period. Again, models can be entered for judging and display, and we are planning to have some additional attractions from the era. Finally, big stomp things for modelers who prefer the grandeur and imagination of sci-fi Gundam mecha, large monsters, along with majestic animals that have their own exciting theme. Bring your favourite creations to life, whether it's Gundam, mecha, or a monster from film, anime, gaming, or even real life. The models can be big and bad if you want, and stompy, anything you would not want to be in front of you in real life. You might have a towering Gundam model in full flight of battle, a fearsome mecha, or a Godzilla destroying a city, a titan from myth or fantasy, a threatening dragon, or a giant creature walking majestically across the plains. Again, models can be entered for judging in the appropriate category or entered as display only. Special prizes will be awarded within the themes, and entries for judging will be judged in their respective categories. We are only accepting online entries, which will be open on their website from the 1st of September. So try our new entry system, which makes the process simple. We're also going to be having demonstrations over the weekend, and a full list of traders again, so pack your credit card for some retail therapy. The event's open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day, with presentations commencing at 3 p.m. on the Sunday. Interstate entrants are most welcome, so if you're planning a trip to South Australia to perhaps sample our famous wine regions, go exploring in the spectacular Flinders Ranges, or just spend some time relaxing on Kangaroo Island, why not stop off in Adelaide for the weekend and bring some models along to enter? Full details on our expo page, or visit our website www.sapma. Didn't I say that?
No.
That's
So
right.
www.sampa. See, even I got it wrong. See, it's
Julian,
contagious.
your turn.
Julian, your turn.
You want me to read out the URL?
Yeah.
Okay, www.sapma.
You forgot the
He forgot the dot.
Oh, whatever.
My turn. www.sapma.com.au.
Well done.
Keep an eye on this and our Facebook page for updates and information leading up to Expo. So, SAPMA 2025. Thanks for that, Keith. And yes, mate, I've still got to get across there.
We do.
It won't happen this year.
We'll try for next year, Dave.
We gotta.
We've gotta
It's not
make
that
it.
far. It's like
No.
an 8-hour drive.
Yeah, if that.
Well, it's like that thing where, you're more likely to visit people who live further away than people who live very close to you, kind of thing.
Very true.
That's true.
Next one.
Alex Johnson writes in, really enjoyed listening to Chris and Colin talking about in-flight models in the last episode. It's been one of the most popular episodes.
It has
actually.
been, yeah.
I agree that it definitely brings something different to the table and has endless possibilities for creativity. I've had some thoughts about this method of display for a while, but hearing you guys walk through it, I'm now going through my checklists and preparing for takeoff. I've joined the Flight Models Facebook group page.
Oh, the in-flight models.
In-flight models, thank you. And have started looking for display stands and aftermarket for in-flight displays. It's also worth noting that a lot of the recent Airfix new toolings have moulded parts for closed-up wheel wells and hatches, as well as pilot figures, but no extra crew. Here are some ideas for in-flight displays that I've added to my future build list. For a first crack at this method, I've got a Lockheed Constellation and a Dornier DOX.
DO10, yep.
That's the
The big flying boat.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Water takeoff.
A force perspective diorama of HMS Illustrious in a Mediterranean camouflage, evading an attack by a Stuka. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And a Dam Busters Lancaster at 60 feet over the Monet or Ida Dam. Well, this could be hard. For storage space considerations, 60 feet in 72nd scale is 10 inches above the water. And in 48 scale, it's 22 and a half inches. Did I read
No,
that
that's
right?
in 30 seconds.
In 32nd scale, it's...
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
In 48 scale, it's 15 and a quarter
It's
inches.
big.
It's big.
It's big.
Plenty to look forward to, and I enjoy admiring the creativity of others. Hopefully there are plenty on display at VMX'25 and also QMHE. All the best, and looking forward to catching up with you soon at QMHE.
We will. No worries, Alex.
Well, and that's it for our
Inbox.
inbox. Of course, you can write to us. Simply send us an email on thebench64@gmail.com. We love hearing and reading what you guys have got to say. Right, we've got a fantastic interview coming up, but before we do, we have to also let everybody know about Scale ACT 25, which is on the 8th and 9th of November 2025. We have fantastic news. We've got AK Interactive is going to be there with Ruben Gonzalez. Also, there could be demonstrations by Ruben Gonzalez, as well as learning about AK Interactive products. Calvin Tan, the renowned figure painter, is going to be there, and he's going to be giving a talk, so you can be inspired by some of his recent figure completions.
Oh, the guy's amazing.
It is sensational. And of course, we've got
Good
that
buddy
other
Lincoln.
Lincoln Wright's going to be there. Lincoln's going to be there. Meet the world-renowned sci-fi modeler Lincoln Wright, founder of Paint on Plastic, an independent sci-fi modelling studio, and he's also going to be doing some demonstrations. We're very excited about being there. There is a big push this year for having 1,000 models on display. So hashtag 1,000. So if you're coming to the show, bring at least 5 model kits as a minimum. If everybody does that, we're going to...
The judges are going to hate you.
I know. If they're going to do that...
You do not want to get invited again next year, do you?
Well, you know, if we hit 1,000, it'll be an Australian record. Because we've never had a show that's had 1,000 models entered in a competition.
Yep.
So, hashtag 1,000. Bring at least 5 models, and we will see you there.
Yep.
In November, 8th and 9th.
How many are you going to bring, Dave?
I'm going to bring 5.
Is that all? I thought you were committed.
Well, I am committed. I've just asked publicly for everybody to bring 5.
Yeah, that's other people. What about you? Shouldn't you be going above that?
No, I think I've got 5 that I'll bring.
Okay.
A couple of rockets, a sci-fi subject, and I'll think about what else to put in.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't know. I'll think of something.
Yep.
Ian, you're coming this year, so...
Yep, I'll be there.
You're going to chuck 5 in as well.
I'll have to dig them out of the garage somewhere.
Do what you got to do, man. And of course, you won't be there, Julian, because you're...
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, for Scale Act?
Oh, you're going to be there for Scale Act?
Oh, well, I wouldn't miss Scale Act.
Well, you've got to bring 5 as well, then.
Yeah. I'll bring 5.
Very
Easy.
good.
Easy.
Well, there's 15.
There you go. I need another 985.
Mm-hmm.
Should be a great show. It's
Yep.
a lot of fun. One of the best weekends, one of the best shows on the Aussie modelling calendar. So
Totally
go
agree.
and check it out. All right, we'll do our name of fortune. You
Wheel
idiots.
of Fortune.
We'll do our Wheel of Fortune, the Patreon Wheel of Fortune, and of course, to enter the Patreon Wheel of Fortune, all you got to do is become a Patreon member. Just go to www.patreon.com/onthebench and pledge any amount from as little as $1 per month upwards. Your contributions help us with our hosting and production costs, and are greatly appreciated by all of us. We're going to be giving away one of our wonderful and very rare On the Bench challenge coins. So let's go see who the lucky winner is for this particular episode. And as the wheel spins down, it comes up to...
Dee
Again, Dee won.
Dee.
Well, Dee won just a while ago.
Go Dee. Yeah, legend.
You know what? I'm going to do another spin, and I'm going to put another coin up because I don't want people thinking that...
Well, it's a digital...
I know,
it's a digital wheel, so it kind of simulates random,
I
but
feel bad
it
for
doesn't...
the other ones.
It's kind of like not really random.
Michael DeFelice.
You also get a challenge coin.
They'll also get the challenge coin.
Well done, guys.
Yeah. All right. Let's have
We've got an interview coming up.
We do have a fantastic interview coming up, and let's have a quick break, and we're back to hear from Dana and Rob.
Yep.
Back very shortly. Models Without Borders is proud to announce that registration is now open for its first ever global online event, Virtual Model Exhibition 2025. VMX'25 invites scale models from around the world to showcase their work in a fully virtual format that reflects the hobby's growth and diversity. Registration is $10, allowing each participant to enter up to 5 models. Builders can choose whether each model is evaluated, display only, or both. Evaluations will use MWB's skill-based system, which considers the modeller's goals, experience, and craftsmanship. The system is designed to support growth, celebrate creativity, and recognise achievement across all skill levels, without comparison or competition. VMX'25 winners will receive a unique gold, silver, or bronze award or certificate of merit. VMX 2025 is now open through to August the 15th. For updates and registration, visit www.modelers.org. Remember, that's modelers with 2 L's. And subscribe or follow Modelers Without Borders on social media. We wish you the best of luck and can't wait to see your wonderful creations. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our guests. We have Dana Mathers and Rob Booth. Gentlemen, good evening, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are in the world.
Good day, guys. Thanks for having us on.
Actually, you're both from Texas, so
It's evening.
I should have gone and got my cowboy boots on and put my spurs on and get my big belt buckle out. That would have been perfect for this interview.
Do you actually have those?
I do have cowboy boots, yes. I bought them in the US about 30 years ago when I was over there.
Oh.
I'd like to see that.
Yes.
Unfortunately, on this little short, fat, rotund body, it looks quite odd me wearing cowboy boots. And believe it or not, my feet have actually gotten a little bit bigger since I first purchased them. So
the weight's made them wider.
Would you believe my eldest granddaughter, she was walking, she was in the house and I was doing some cleaning up, and she goes, "Oh, Pops, they look awesome." So I gave them to her now.
She's got them. There you go.
And I used to have an Akubra, which is sort of our equivalent of a cowboy hat.
Yep.
And I'm way too fat for a belt buckle now. It hurts my stomach. So anyway, so less about what I look like when I'm dressed up and playing cosplay as a cowboy. Let's get on to why we've got you two lovely gentlemen here today. Dana.
Well, just a bit of introduction. My name's Dana Mathis, and I'm a member of the Alamo Squadron Club in San Antonio, Texas, as well as the Hill Country Modeling Club. And, we wanted to talk to you and update you a little bit on some of the things we're doing with judging. Obviously, that's the least controversial topic you've probably ever had on your podcast, right?
Absolutely.
But,
oh my God! When we first started doing the podcast, it was it always seems every year there's another controversy that sort of pops up or another controversy, and it seems like a magic pudding. It just keeps giving and giving and giving.
Yep.
Right.
So, Dana, what are you guys doing to perhaps put an end to that controversy?
Well, I don't know that we'll ever put an end to it, but usually if you get two modelers together for more than about 5 seconds, this topic comes up. But kind of to lead into this, Rob and I have been kind of going to contests and stuff for the last 10 years or so. And usually on the way back from the contest, we would have talked to somebody or observed something that we'd had to discuss and say, why in the world did that happen in the judging? And the other part of this that I guess, added to our sense that something needed to be done was we heard a lot of stories from people that had judged at some of the big contests, and they relate some of the, I'll just call them discrepancies that they saw. And it just kind of convinced us that we needed to try something different. And, the foundation of this is it's really all about respecting the people in the hobby. It's about treating the people in the hobby and their work with respect. And that's kind of the foundation of it, and I guess why we felt like we needed to try something different.
That's a great. That's pretty good.
What have you come up with?
Well, we've listened to a lot of people, and I would say some of the things that we're going to talk about are very few of them are original with us. It really has to do with observing what other people have done or are trying, and some ideas that some of the people in our club had. And I would say our work has been mostly to integrate some of those ideas in a different process. And I want to make a point kind of early on in this, is that, it's respect for people. It's respect for our hobby. We're protecting the reputation of our hobby, and it's also protecting the reputation of our clubs, that we do judging well. And I want to make a note here. When you get into this controversial territory, immediately people start jumping on terms and things. And I want to be careful as we go through this that there is a judging protocol about how we evaluate the work, and there is a separate but sometimes related protocol about how we award that work. So
that's an interesting concept.
Well, you think about it, some people immediately say, well, 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, that is a judging protocol. That is not necessarily an awards protocol. And then other people say, well, GSB. Well, that usually the better term is open system judging with GSB awards format.
Right.
So as we started down this path, our early concentration was solely on the judging protocol. How is the model to be evaluated and judged, and whatever process we ended up with to do that, it could support either a 1, 2, 3 awards format or a GSB awards format or something else that somebody wanted to use. So it's real important in this discussion because people almost universally connect those two things and see them as one thing. They're two different things. How we judge and how we award are two different processes.
Right.
Now they link up, but they're two different processes, and that's real important as you talk through this. You want to add to that, Rob?
Well, I would say that when you and I first went down this road, and back to your point that we would ride back from contests together with 2 or 3 of our other compadres, and we'd be comparing notes on things. And it seemed to be that whenever we would go to a show, we'd talk about the judging I guess my own experience in this would be if I took a model to a show that had been to maybe 2 or 3 shows before, the way that model was awarded, regardless of the system, and back in that day, it was almost exclusively 1, 2, 3. As we went around to the Region 6 IPMS contests here in the Texas area, is that the results, I could get a first place at one show with a model and take that same model to the next show, and I mean, let's face the fact that in a regional area, you're typically going to face most of the same competition from show to show to show. Not always exactly, but you're likely to have the same, say 5 to 10 to 15 models show up within a given category that you enter at various shows as you go along. And I might have a first place at one show, and then the next show I wouldn't place at all amongst the same competition. And then you go to another show a month and a half later, and you might get a second or a third place. But the the consistency of that particular piece to place at a given show that was supposedly being judged under the same protocols and judging requirements, it didn't make a whole lot of sense that you'd get a first place at one show and then you wouldn't even see a medal at the next show with the same competition. And so that led us to figure out that obviously it wasn't the same judges looking at the piece each time. So from show to show to show, if the piece was a good piece and it was very competitive with the other stuff that was around it, what would lead to this inconsistency in how the model did from show to show to show? And so that led us to think that there was something that was inconsistent about the way that the pieces were being evaluated from show to show. So that led us to talk to more people about, what was their experience and how did that affect the way that their work did. And it was overwhelming, the number of people that said, "Hey, I'm having the same experience. I might get best aircraft at this show or best armor or whatever. And then a month later, I take the same piece to another show and I don't even place within the category." So why is that? Well, obviously the judges weren't looking at the same things. Or what's probably even worse is they were just looking at the things that they liked and that appealed to them, and that's what they were looking at, and that's what they were awarding. Which, we all understand that this process is pretty subjective, and it can be, and it has to be, particularly at the upper levels of the awards at these shows, because when you get models that get to the point of being evaluated for the best of a class, they're all very, very good models and they're technically well done. So it's hard to keep your personal biases from entering into what you, as if you're a judge, it's hard to keep your personal biases of what you like out of, what you tend to be looking at more than another piece for a best armor or a best aircraft, whatever it is you're looking at. And so that led us to looking at, we started looking a little closer at the rules, which is what we should be doing anyway, before you enter a show. And a lot of the rules varied from club to club and place to place and show to show. And we got to looking more closely at the national organization and the documentation that they had online as the rules and the things that the judges were supposed to look at the national level at a national show. And what we found was that stuff was number one, it was hard to find. Number two, it was very disorganized, and it was split up between a couple of different documents. And then there was a lot of, what's the right term? It was accepted knowledge, within the community of the way things were supposed to be judged.
Yeah.
And so Dana and I said, folklore. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So Dana and I decided to take a little closer look at it and see if we couldn't come up with something that maybe was a little more structured and made a little more sense. And if for no other reason than to provide a little more consistency from place to place and show to show on how these things were being evaluated. And that led into discussions about cattle calls and who's really looking at the models and are the judges that are looking at these things really qualified to be looking at what they're looking at. And the more we kind of looked into things, the less structured and the more happenstance the whole process seemed to be. So, we said this isn't rocket science. It's pretty easy to look at something and figure out, is it well done or not well done, and beyond that, what are the things we should be looking at? So we kind of took it from there, and we've been working on this ever since.
It kind of we started with, I'd say, 4 principles here. Back to the first one being that this process should respect people and their work. That it should be very respectful of people, and people get a fair shake and a holistic look at their work. Not just is this a millimeter different than the piece on the other side, but a whole look at their work as respectful. Number 2, it ought to be fair, and by that I guess we mean transparent. That it ought to be crystal clear how the process works, what's being looked at, how the model's being evaluated. That it ought to be very transparent and clear, both to the judges and the contestants. The next principle that we make it as consistent as possible. And we'll talk about some of those steps that we're trying to build into this for consistency. But the idea that it's more repeatable, right? That we've done everything we can in a reasonable way to remove variability. We know we're never going to eliminate that. This is subjective. This is art. But that we've done everything we can on a practical basis to make it more consistent. And the 4th principle was feedback. That everybody ought to walk away and go home with some type of feedback about the good and the opportunities for improvement for their work. And we feel like that's very important for the hobby, both for the individual and the community, that if you walk away without feedback, you get that empty feeling in your gut that why did I come and what was the point, right?
Yep.
Well, if you're entering a model competition, let me take a step back. I'll come from a different way. What model competitions should be doing is celebrating the hobby, acknowledging those bits of work that are just exceptional, but also building up the rest of the crowd behind it. And the only way you can do that is by giving good and fair feedback and saying, hey, look, this is where you need to improve to sort of, or what you should be doing to sort of bring your model to the next sort of level.
And just kind of right with that, we've talked to several clubs in our area, and had some of these kind of group discussions. I typically will ask a question and I'll give them a choice. I said, guys, if you have a choice between trying to improve yourself by judging, right? We say that a lot, right? You improve yourself by judging, or you improve your skills by judging, or becoming a better modeler by feedback from your own piece. Which would you choose? And consistently, it's about 90 to 10. I want feedback. That's what's going to help me grow and improve my modeling skills. So we felt like feedback was an important thing. And, feedback by itself, you guys could have a whole show about what constitutes feedback, right? So there's a whole gamut of what constitutes feedback. And so what we've tried to deal or look at is what can you do on a very time efficient, simple method that doesn't require the judges to write much. Because when you have somebody that has to write something, that takes time that you're usually pressed for in a one-day contest. And number 2, most of the feedback, I don't know about you guys, but where people have tried to write something for me, most of the time I can't read it. It's illegible. We got a lot of hobby, model builders out there that kind of write like doctors,
Yeah. And also like the shortness of time doesn't help.
Yeah. So we've been looking at feedback in terms of like checklists or check marks or things like this. We also have used pictures to some extent where we're kind of moving away from some of the picture stuff that we tried this last year, but where the judges, for example, would have if you're judging an armored vehicle, there's a picture of a tank or a picture of an armored car on the judging form, and we'd ask the judges, if you see something that needs improvement, put a little X kind of approximately where it is on the model. We're not going to use that this year for the adult models, but we're going to keep it for the youth models, that they walk away with kind of a pictorial format with the feedback on it. But so there's a whole gamut here of feedback. You can, from trying to talk to the guy who judged your model to walking away with written comments, and we've kind of settled on something that's we think is more time efficient, but still, based on what we've heard back from our contestants, is very useful to them in terms of, okay, I've got an alignment problem, and I see what you're talking about, and or I've got a finish problem, I see what you're talking about. So they walk away with something tangible and specific enough that they can try to work on it. We feel like those are kind of the four main, if you will, principles or specifications that we tried to use.
I like the idea, and what I find frustrating is that, as you said at the beginning of this, there was no sort of real consistency between model shows, even here in Australia. A model can do well in one show, and you take it to another show and doesn't even place. And it's that lack of consistency that's always sort of grated against me in a lot of respects. You can't compare this to, say, like the Olympics, because the Olympics, let's think about diving, for example, in the Olympics, where you've got 8 judges or 4 judges or however many, they're sitting there and they each score the actual dive. Even as a layman, you can sort of sit there and watch the diving competition and get a pretty good idea whether the dive was good or whether the dive was bad. And then seeing the judging scores pop up, you can go, I can see how they sort of got to that. So in a roundabout way, I guess what I'm sort of coming at is then how do you sort of smooth out the whole system so that you're continually getting consistency over and over with new judges coming in and all that sort of stuff?
Well, let me talk about some of the. Go ahead, Rob.
Well, I was just real quick. I was going to say there's a key difference there in the system of what it is that you're trying to do with judging. Say the Olympics versus judging a model, which is an inanimate object sitting on the table at a model show. When a person's in the Olympics and they're doing their event, whatever it is, their performance is not static. They change their performance based on their abilities to meet a certain end if they want to be first, second, or third in that competition. And that's also a key point of that. That's actually a competition where theoretically the best man wins, and they adapt their physical skills to do better as the conditions call for in order to try to be first place in that. And it's cut and dry. If you cross the finish line first, you're in first place. It gets and the comparison of diving to judging models is a good one, Dave, because you're when those judges are evaluating the dive, they're looking at a standard of how that dive is supposed to be, which is, at least Dana and I thought that's sort of the way that looking at a model should be. There should be a standard for what's a gold place model, what's a silver place model, and what's a gold place model, or a first, second, or third based on how well that model fits the standard. And the model can't sit there and change itself to do better than another model. And that's the thing about this is when you're evaluating a model on the table, you're looking at the model, but what you're really evaluating is the skill of the person who put that thing together and how well they built that model and how well they finished it according to their abilities and their skills in completing it. And if you take that standard as, the best that can be done with it, then that's something that you can shoot for, and you change your abilities and your skills to try to hit it. But it can't happen as the model sits there on the table. It's what goes into it. And so I think one of the things we recognized early on is that's why this gets so personal, and people get upset, particularly in a competitive environment in a model contest, when you've theoretically said that somebody's model is better than somebody else's. And so I think the important thing to recognize is we're trying to take the ultra competitiveness out of it. There, some people in this hobby are very, very competitive, and they get very upset when they don't come away with a best of whatever or best of show on their piece based on what they think it deserves. So if we pull this back to judging against a standard of what constitutes a gold level of execution versus a silver level of execution versus a bronze level of execution on common standards to each piece, that takes that uber competitiveness out of it, and you're basically competing against yourself.
Yeah. It's like sort of creating a ladder for them to climb rather than just having a sort of black and white on-off result.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And it takes that personal aspect out of it. You're really only competing against yourself, so it's hard to get upset with if you think someone has beaten you on this. Anyway, that might be a little bit of a sidetrack, but go ahead, Dana.
Well, one of the things I wanted to sort of touch on is that if you were to look at sort of competitive sports where people do play off against each other, generally speaking, there's a system in place that matches you against similar level competitors, right? But often at a lot of shows, you're in there in the deep end with people who are really seasoned if you're a beginner.
Right. Yeah, and at the in the end game of all of this, in a perfect world, this comes out to a system where we pull all this together and we have these standards and these judging protocols, but we also have different skill level classes that doesn't throw a beginner or an intermediate modeler in trying to compete at the same standards as someone who's a world-class modeler and wins best of shows at the big shows around the world.
Yeah.
You get a chance to progress through the skill levels.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can disagree with that. I mean, everyone wants to improve first and foremost. Everyone sees your YouTube modelers and your magazines, and they want to see how can I get from here to there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And back to Dana's point, that's the purpose of trying to give you this feedback to show you where your piece needed improvement or was good, or where it was actually excellent compared to this standard that your model's being evaluated against.
So, talking about going up that ladder, as we were looking at this judging process, to answer your question, Dave, we kind of looked at it in 4 buckets. The first one was having written class-specific standards. Talk some more about that. The second one was having written class-specific judging rubrics. The third one was having very clear procedures that help reduce variability when the model's being evaluated. And the fourth one has to do with the selection and training of the judges. So there were kind of those 4 buckets, right? You guys, that kind of makes sense.
Yep.
What we all see, right? So the first one was class-specific standards. And if you get, even among you guys, as you guys talk about your different genres, what you like to build, there are different things in different, right? There's different things you look for, whether it's a car or a ship or a piece of, a Gundam or a mecha or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so we developed, I believe it's 10 class-specific standards. We just added one for Gundams, and they're kind of organized in the familiar format. There's a construction, finish, and then a third bucket we called presentation and scope of work. And the construction stuff is, everybody's pretty familiar with that. And we kind of organize it as what you should see as a judge and what you shouldn't see as a judge, right? So there's certain things that, I'll just pick out a couple of, you should see machine gun barrels, bored out, right? Or you should see exhaust pipes bored out or things like that. But you shouldn't see, our old favorites, a piece of glue or a bad seam or some of that kind of stuff. So they're spelled out that way, and both there's construction and then finish. And then the one that got the hardest, was the most difficult to get a consensus on, was this bucket of stuff that is almost never defined in any of the contest rules that you read, is what about presentation? What about bases? What about backdrops, lighting, sound, documentation? What about scope of work, scratch building, kit bashing, ultra detailing, exotic paint and finish schemes and stuff? So as we went through this, it was quite a job, particularly on that last bucket, to get any kind of consensus about what those things were and how to describe those things, right?
Yep.
And if you look at, if you just pick some of your favorite contests and look at the rules, and this kind of goes to the folklore stuff, right? That none of this stuff is defined.
Yeah.
With any specificity about what it is and what you're looking for when you start talking about this stuff.
And Dana, just to point out, this particular bucket you're talking about now, you can do the first three easy. You can have a perfect model built, but it's this fourth one that we're talking about now that defines a good model from a great model.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And Dave, that's exactly, it kind of takes us to the next thing here. Before I jump to that, I want to make two other points, though, is how we set the standards up. We said that we would not use the term degree of difficulty. We used scope of work. Degree of difficulty depends on the judge, because something could be very, you would think, well, shoot, I've done that. That's not that hard to do. So that in a way reflects on the judge's understanding and skill set. Scope of work is a more objective look at what's been added to the model or done to the model. So we were careful not to use the term degree of difficulty. And the other thing I wanted to mention in the standards is we had long discussions about accuracy. Right? That's one of everybody's favorites, right? Yeah. Well, that's not the shade of paint that the P-47 had in that factory in 1943, right? So we said, look, we're going to part of our standard, we say it out in bold letters, we are not going to judge accuracy because I'll give you an example here in just a sec. The judges are just not competent to do it. And the fact of the variability of the subjects also makes it almost impossible. So I'll give you an example. At one of our local contests in our region, one of our aircraft guys got dinged. He was in another club, but he's kind of a national quality aircraft builder. And he had this Spitfire of a certain mark, and he got dinged. And the judge wrote on there that he had the wrong antennas on for that mark. Oh yeah. Well, it comes to find out the judge was wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had the documentation to prove that these antennas were used on multiple marks of the Spitfire. And they were interchangeable, right, as the planes were upgraded and worked on and whatnot. But we said that kind of stuff, we're not going there. Yeah. And so we just said accuracy is not going to be part of our judging standard up front, period. So that's a key thing as far as our standards. We spent a lot of time arguing about that. So the second part of this are the scoring rubrics. So each class has a scoring rubric, and it's approximately like a checklist. And the point of this is to try to get the judge a structured way to look at the model and to be thorough. And I'll give you a reason here. I was on a judging team once, judging armor, and this particular judge said, well, here's the way I judge. I look at the barrel, at the muzzle on the barrel of the tank, and if there's any flash or injection pins or anything up inside the barrel of the muzzle, well, then that one's not considered anymore.
What?
Whoa.
That's pretty harsh.
That's an extreme example, but that's what we're talking about. We're not looking for people looking for little bitty flaws. We want that whole model to be looked at in a holistic, thorough way. So each class has a checklist for construction and gets a construction score. Each checklist has each class has a checklist for finish and gets a finish score. And we have deliberately weighted those differently. Most of the classes, those are kind of a 50-50 weighting. They're both 50 points. But things like automotive and figures, we said, no, we'll give 30 points max for the construction and 70 points max for the finish, just by the nature of those genres. So we have adjusted the scoring to some degree for certain classes like that. Mm. And then the third part of the score is that bonus. It's just the way you described it. So you can get a gold medal if you get a high enough score between finish and construction. So then all that other bucket of stuff, presentation, sound and light effects, scope of work, documentation. And by the way, we limit the amount of documentation you can put on the table. We don't want a book. The judges don't have time, right? So
that's right.
So basically, we will let you can earn up to 20 points, bonus points for that other bucket of stuff. Some people would call them intangibles, but we've tried to define what those things are, and we've asked the judging checklist, ask you to look at each one of those things as you consider the model here. So construction, finish, and then this presentation scope of work score. So you can get up to 120 points, and like you said, the very best models, the great models are going to be bumping that up in the 110, 120 range. So that's how we've approached the score.
It's all that stuff, Dave, that those of us at MWB call the wow factor.
Yeah. It's like trying to describe lightning in the bottle, isn't it?
There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that goes into it.
But here's the thing: you can as a modeler, you can go into a display of models, and you can see straight away the one that's got, and sometimes it's really hard to put your finger on what it is that makes that one that's a best of show I've just seen. You know what I mean? It's not to say that the other ones aren't technically good or extremely well made or anything, but you come across these models and it's just something you go, wow, that's...
Yeah, it's usually something you've never seen before.
Yeah, or the way they've...
Or the technique you've never seen before.
Yes, or the way they've displayed it that sort of sets it off in a way that's completely different.
I think you're right there. I think it's mostly it's the way it's displayed too, because it just grabs you.
Yeah,
and the thing is, guys, those are the things that always have been talked about in judging discussions throughout, in the long time that I've been at this. It's those things that aren't addressed in the rules themselves and the specifics that are on paper about how you're supposed to judge a model. It's those over and above things that draw your eye and make you linger at that particular piece and go, wow, this is an outstanding piece of work. And it's clearly much better than anything else in the category or on the table or whatever. And so what we've been trying to do is to address that and recognize that. And, the older judging systems, I guess, if I can refer to them that way, that was always a part of how models were evaluated, and judges always talked about that. That was a part of the discussion. You talk about scope of work a lot. I can remember discussions trying to disseminate between first, second, and third, or out of the first in a given class. What should be best of show, and the definition always came down to things like, the scope of the work is so much more on this particular model. Look at all the stuff that was scratch built on it, and I know we're not supposed to judge the bases, but look at this base that this thing's sitting on. It's very complementary to the model, and it sets a perfect scene for it, and it puts the model in context.
Well, just on that thing about bases, and they're not supposed to be judged and everything, and I get that, and I do also agree with that. But if you think about a Michelin star restaurant, okay, if you look at how they plate the food, so the food itself is the model, but the plate is the base, and that also enhances and complements
absolutely
what's on display.
Yep.
And that's why you go to these fancy restaurants and you see all these weird and wonderful plates. And of course, when I take Michelle out, she goes, "Oh, let's buy some of these plates," and they're like $200 for one single plate, let alone the food. But you see what I'm saying? It complements and highlights and lifts up the actual
puts
piece.
it in context,
and that as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I just say?
Yeah, and as to be perfectly honest about it, that the way that piece is presented is so much better than, as we say, a tank on a plank or a plane on a paper. It provides that much more appeal. So let's go ahead and recognize that and the work that went into it.
To me, it brings the model more alive.
Yes,
exactly.
It's in its natural environment.
Yeah.
You can relate to it better.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, as modelers that are, we're already in competition, so we're already a sort of very small subset of modelers in general. But it's very easy to sort of get your head in that space and forget about how does this look to people who aren't in the hobby.
Yes.
Like, if someone who doesn't know about the hobby gets invited by a friend to a modeling event and they see the models on the tables and they see all these planes on the table, nothing around them, they go, "Oh, okay, they're just a bunch of toys sitting on the table." But if you put them in a base, in context, they become something else, right?
Yes.
They're much more palatable to the uninitiated.
Right. Well, to that point, we tried real hard, and I'm going to let Dana get back to going through the specifics here. But we felt like it was very important. Our initial, I guess, let me take a step back. Our initial trial at this, that it didn't necessarily have much of this overall presentation and scope of work as part of the rubric. We were still focused on construction and finish because that's where we came from,
Yeah.
And so as we began to dive further into these intrinsics and these intangible things, the first go round, it was impossible for a model to score a gold under the original rubric without getting some points for up over and above stuff. This as we spread the scores around and the levels to get gold, silver, and bronze, you couldn't get a gold without having some portion of overall presentation and scope of work. As you had to have some points in there to be able to place for a gold, even if you scored perfect on construction and finish. And after going around with that for a couple months, Dana, at our local club, looking at the monthly contest models, that was kind of defeating the purpose, to be quite frank. And so we put our heads together and said, there's got to be a way for a piece to score gold without anything else. If a plane on a paper gets a high enough score by itself without a base or any of these other things, if it scores well enough, it should be able to get a gold.
Yep.
Because it's the model. That's
Yep.
technically what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And so what kind of came around from that is you could actually have some minor discrepancies in how you constructed and finished your piece, but you might, if it was sitting by itself, it might score a high silver because it was a really, really good model. But when you take that model and you put it on a really showy base that complements it, and you put a little bit of documentation about what you did, and you dress it up with a base, maybe a couple of figures or something like that are well done, then you can overcome the minor flaws in that model that you got dinged for in the construction and finish, and you can elevate that high silver to a gold by that additional scope of work that you put into it. And that's what we felt like was getting missed in some of these old rubrics.
Mm.
Yeah, and this is partly why this is such a controversial subject, because everybody's got an angle or a philosophy, right, about how they approach it.
Yes.
But we hammered this out, like Rob said. We spent an extra probably 3 months arguing about this stuff, but it's part of getting this transparency idea that I was talking about in the judging. You know, for example, part of what's in that presentation and scope of work checklist is storytelling and visual appeal.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we all have talked about how we've acknowledged this and seen it at work, but it's never written down. It's never in any kind of consistent way. And so this is at least a first attempt to get it up on the table where everybody can try to deal with it in a, reasonably consistent way. So just moving us along. The third thing we worked on a lot was procedures. So no lights, no cell phones, no magnifying glasses. Because we've gone to an open system, so we don't really have categories. There's really no need to move models. And one of the things we're doing this year, just even to help that, if you don't have a base, we'll provide you a paper plate or something like that you can put your model on, so it makes it still safe and easy for the judges if they want to rotate it on the table. But doing some things to try to protect the models, and not, again, it's about respecting the builder. One of the things that we've done also is we've limited the number of evaluated models to 5. And this has, there's a lot of philosophy and angles on this, but part of it is it helps you manage your judging manpower better. We also are allowing display models, and we're allowing the display models to be eligible for theme and special awards. So only if you bring 5 evaluated models, you could earn up to 5 medals. But we put that in to try to help us manage the judging manpower for this. The other thing that we're looking at this year is going to more of an exhibition format, which where you would bring all of your work in, on a designated spot, and you would have your models you want to be evaluated as well as any display models. And we'd have your name there, and you'd have a name badge so that people can talk to you about your work, and it feels more like an art exhibition kind of an idea. And we've seen that several other contests or exhibitions are moving in this direction.
Well, famously, the Rocky Mountain Model Show, run by
Salt Lake guys.
Yeah.
Tulsa guys this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a real interesting time.
Promotes the community around the hobby.
Yeah.
Encourages people to talk to each other.
Yeah, I mean, can you think about how many really, really stunning models have turned up, won an award, and then you never see them again because they can't be entered into competition twice, right?
Right.
But at least now they get to be seen.
Yes.
And I love that idea where, you know, a person brings along a selection of what they've built, and it may be all one single subject. It might be across a whole range of, you know, different genres that they sort of sit there and put on display. And the fact that they put their name next to it as well, it gives, I mean, no longer is it an unknown, anonymous sort of model sitting on there. You can look at something and go, oh, gee, that name rings a bell. I know who that is. And if you see them on the floor, you can go over and sort of grab them and say, hey, man, I really loved what you did on that car. Can you show me and tell me how you actually did that particular technique?
Yep. So we think it opens up the dialogue a lot and the sense of community. And, you know, one of the concerns of that is that people would be biased. The judges would be biased because they know who did the work. And I had an opportunity to judge with a team in a contest like that, and it just was not an issue at all. It was it did not. I did not feel like it compromised the integrity of the judging.
Also, like if a judge is going to be biased, they're determined to be biased. All right, they're going to be biased no matter what you do. You know,
you just got to
ideally there wouldn't be any bias, and we would all strive to not be biased. But we all know that there are judges out there who will go in there looking to, you know, push the hobby in a direction that they prefer.
Well, famously, there's been instances of deliberate manipulation to get, you know, a friend or a mate over the line for particular reasons, and I think we can all point to model shows where that's occurred. But under this system, I think that Rob and Dana are talking about, because it's sort of open and transparent, and everybody's name is up there as well, and you know who the judges are, and if it's gonna. Well,
it is more transparent.
It's going to be like water. It's going to find its own level.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that the fact that you're using this checklist and you're evaluating the model against the standard that is laid out in that checklist, kind of precludes you from thinking about who it is that built the model, because you're looking at the attributes of the piece in black and white, and you're scoring that attribute against this grid as it's either, you know, it needs improvement, or it's good, you know, the average range, or it's outstanding, and you award the points based on that, and it's pretty it's pretty black and white. It's either on the model or it's not.
Yep.
Or it's either well done or it's not.
Yep. That's great.
Agreed.
It just goes to what I think where you were going, Dave, is how you pick the judges and train the judges.
Yes.
And we've tried to take the position is that we're not going to have a call for volunteers the day of the event. We are trying to identify and train judges and have the judges assigned by class with even a judging schedule by the time we get to the event. So a lot of work, if you will, in the off season to identify and train judges on the standards and practice with them. One of the things that we've started doing with our monthly club contest is use that. We normally will have bring your stuff in, and we'll have a inter-club competition. Well, we're using that as part of our judge training. And then we're also doing some things we're getting ready to do in the next couple of months. We're going to do some things on Zoom and some other things outside of our normal club meetings, so that the day of the event, when people walk in, we know who the judges are for each class, and we have a work schedule set up for them, and we amend that if we need to, of course. But we have invested significant effort in trying to identify and train the judges so they can do a good job.
Absolutely. So, gents, when are we going to be seeing this first being brought to what's the first model show coming up that this judging rubric is going to be used?
Well, we have I got to back up in time here a little bit. So this is 2025, and you applied a version of this for the first time across our whole show. We used it in selected categories the 2 years prior. The upcoming show day will be January the 3rd, Modelfiesta'26, sponsored by Alamo Squadron of San Antonio, and it's affiliated with Modelers Without Borders. This is the first local contest affiliated with Modelers Without Borders. It's on January the 3rd, so we're early in the year of the 2026, and we're at the New Braunfels Convention Civic Center in New Braunfels, Texas.
And of course, it'll be winter down there, so it'll be nice and cool. No stifling, burning Texas sun to melt your skin off as you're sort of standing outside.
Be very pleasant.
But bring your long johns anyway.
Probably won't be shoveling any snow either.
Oh, it doesn't snow in Texas, does it?
About we're at about 1 week a year.
There you go.
Well, Dana and Rob, look, thanks very much for coming on the show and explaining all that. You got any sort of final sort of words that you want to sort of let the listeners know about?
If you have any questions or comments, we'd invite that. If you go to the alamosquadron.com/contact webpage, you can contact us and we'll respond to whatever concerns or questions you might have.
And that's a reasonably sized show. How many people do you normally get at that show?
Oh gosh, I guess our historic high has been pushing about 800 models.
Wow,
Ooh, that's impressive.
Yeah, that's good.
Probably 5 to 6 to maybe in a good year 700. Just depends on. Just to be blunt, it depends on the weather.
Yeah,
a lot of times,
Yeah.
what's going on.
And it's a 2-day event, gents, or just a 1 day?
Just
a 1 day.
Just the one.
You get 800 models for a 1 day event.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeez, I pity the judges.
You guys are crazy.
We're toying with the idea of expanding it a little bit, maybe going to 2 days and possibly doing some day one seminars and maybe some of that kind of stuff. But that's long range planning.
Sure. Well, gentlemen,
it kind of goes along with the Modelers Without Borders affiliation and how we roll with that.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
And just connecting that dot, Dave, to finish up here, the philosophy that we've described here for the local contest is very much in line with what's been built into this virtual model exposition 2025 that just kicked off today. The Modelers Without Borders is sponsoring. So all the things that we talked about are pretty much the same principles and a lot of the same procedures, only in this case it's a software tool and done virtually in this VMX 25. So I just invite people to be part of that and help us learn and improve our judging process for that too.
Yep, very good. So VMX 25, if you want to find out more information about that, just go to modelers.org and just click on the link. That's the homepage for Models Without Borders. And there's a link there to take you through to VMX, which is the Virtual Model Exhibition 2025. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being on the show. It's been really, really eye-opening and illuminating hearing, and also exciting to hear what you guys are pushing forward. And I'm really keen to see what the feedback is from your show, which is coming up in January the 3rd. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I'll just be about to step on the plane to go to Paris, so I won't be able to make that one. So we're really excited, and perhaps we'll get you back on after the show's been on next year, just to sort of do a bit of a after-action review and let us know how it all went.
Right, this is definitely a work in progress. We try very hard to learn from mistakes and go through the process of continuous improvement with all of this.
That's fantastic.
There's privilege and pleasure to be with you guys. Thanks for the conversation.
Oh,
No worries, guys.
It's been a really cool conversation.
Thanks very much.
No
Thank you.
worries, gentlemen. Thanks very much. Well, that's been a great show. But, a lot longer than I expected this time around, actually.
Yeah, a couple of hours by the looks of it.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, well.
Gents, let's take us home.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Oh, well, that's nice and easy.
Wow. You're really trying to flex the Dutch, are you?
No, that's German.
Oh, is that
German.
German? Is it? I would have thought that maybe it's the same in both.
No, it's not.
What is
Okay.
goodbye in Dutch?
Tot ziens.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, that's completely different.
Hang on. Frupnaf.
What's that, Scandinavian or something?
No. I'm if I've got this right, it means you got a big nose in Dutch.
Oh, mate, you butchered it then.
My father-in-law always says frupnaf, so
You're probably not hearing it properly. Because that doesn't make any sense at all to me.
Gee, I hope I haven't
Dave,
sworn.
look, you can't even master English, right?
So, yeah, don't attempt foreign languages.
Je voudrais parler français avec moi, monsieur.
Okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
okay, something in French.
See?
Dead language.
Should we get
according to, according to Futurama, remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. French was a dead language. Yes.
You remember when they got the machine that I know it just speaks in some dead language and it says, what was it, pardon du français or something like that?
Oh gosh! All right, we'll be back in. Are we going to be back having a? I'm just trying to figure out our next episode because
No, the next episode is going to be from QMHE.
you know what the next episode is going to be. It's going to be a short 5-minute of me unboxing the Mooseroot Cup
Yep.
and laughing with tears of joy because it's an armor kit.
If you say so.
Or tears. Because
I might just get you guys online and do a Zoom call with you or something. Just
yeah,
to,
right. So we can either laugh at you, or I'll be looking forward to just laughing, going, "Ha ha, you got to build that."
Look, it could be something fairly decent. You don't need to think that it's going to be something bad.
It feels like an armor kit. It does.
How does it feel like an armor kit? Are you going by weight? Is that what you're going by?
No, just like the size of the box.
Okay, that doesn't mean much.
True, because there's another box inside the packaging, obviously. But
Well, look at the was it the new F4U Corsair from Model
oh,
Factory?
that'd be nice.
That's the shape of that box. You could, if it was a blank cardboard box, you'd think was an armor kit.
I can rule out it's not a ship because it's not long and skinny, the boxing, so it can't be a ship.
Who knows?
It's too sort of square or too.
It could be something like from 3D Wild. Maybe it's one of those.
What was the last one? The last one? I did
It's a
it.
submarine.
It's
The submarine,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
So it won't be a naval subject again.
Okay. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. Or fortunately. I mean,
Whatever it is, let's hope it's challenging.
Can I back out before I open
Nope.
it?
No.
Oh God.
Don't ask me to do it because I don't have anywhere to build models at the moment.
What are you going to do next year? Because you're up next year.
Well, by next year, I'll definitely have to have a dedicated modelling space.
Damn
Well, I
straight you
should
will.
have by then.
Yeah.
All
In
right.
any case, bye-bye.
Anywho,
I guess it
Bye,
is.
everyone.
Goodbye. We'll see you soon. Thanks very much for listening.